Thoroughly amateur? You betcha. I'm Robert McKay. The channel, as you obviously know, you're watching it, is Whiskey for Beginners. And today, what I want to deal with is the question, if you could only have one whiskey, what should it be? Well, that's a tough question to answer because what it should be is impossible to say. What you like and what I like are not the same thing. My favorite whiskey, the one I would pick for me, is Balcones Texas Pot Still Bourbon. It's my favorite whiskey in the world, has been for going on 2 years. Other people don't like it. There are some people who can't say a thing good about anything from Balcones Distilling. So if you could only have one whiskey, what should it be? Well, I've already told you what it would be for me. Let me give you some basic ideas to guide you. One, obviously, it should be something you really, really like. If it's going to be the only one you ever drink, you want to like it. You don't want it to be something that's just okay. You want it to be really good. But then you also want it to be something you can afford. Now, not everybody has the same budget. Some people can afford $100 bottles, $200 bottles. I can't. And one of the reasons that the Texas Pot Still Bourbon would be mine, not only is it my favorite, but it's only $30, which is not bad for a really good bourbon. Maybe you can afford to buy all the time $50 bottles. Maybe you can afford $40 bottles. Maybe you can afford $100 bottles. I don't know. But it should be something you can afford without taking away from necessities. Whiskey's not a necessity. It's a luxury, I guess you'd call it. It should be something that's available. You might like Buffalo Trace. It might be your favorite whiskey, but it's very allocated. And while there are some places where you can always find it, there are other places you can never find it. In not quite 2 years of drinking whiskey, I've seen it on the shelf 2 times. That's it. Eagle Rare, I've not seen on the shelf. I had a bottle of it, but they didn't have it on the shelf. They'd hit it back off, and the liquor store person offered it to me because I have a relationship with that store. So it needs to be something that you can always find. Now, good whiskeys that are affordable and available, let me just give you some possibilities. Wild Turkey 101. My brain went blank. Knob Creek, 9-year. That's 100 proof, so if you're a beginner, maybe that wouldn't be for you. Old Granddad Bonded, which is 100 proof, but it's cheap and available. Four Roses, their regular 80 proof bourbon or their small batch are both good. The single barrel's getting a little more expensive, and single barrels are not necessarily consistent. What else is there? My brain's revolving. Evan Williams Bottled in Bond is good. Again, that's 100 proof whiskey. As you can tell, the things that I like tend to have some proof to them. But something you like, something you can afford, something that's easily available. If you can only have one whiskey, it should be something that fits those 3 criteria. And beyond that, it's really hard to prescribe anything. It is. And so I'll just cut the video there.